Hello, and welcome to the Tech Done For You interview series. I'm your host, Gina Decker, and I'm so excited to be interviewing Rob Goyette today. He is a tech guru, and that is true to the title. He is also a marketing expert. But today we're actually not going to be talking so much about technology. We're going to be talking about email copy that converts. And what I notice is that a lot of times, you can actually get something to convert without a webinar if you're just really good at email copy. And Rob is a master of that. And so we're really excited to be here with him today. We've co-hosted JVIC Tech Calls for Rich Gurman's The Joint Venture Insider Circle for many years. Rob is totally great with questions off the cuff, so I'm happy that there's some people here to ask him stuff. But thank you, Rob, for being with me. I am so excited that you're here today to talk about this.
Yeah, my pleasure, Gina.
Yeah.
Great to be here. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get started. I know that we've got about an hour, but we're going to stick to our time. I know you've got a lot of stuff on your schedule. So let's just jump right in. Why do you like email copy so much?
Yeah, there are lots of reasons, and I've got notes in front of me to remind me why I love it so much. But I think what I like about it is that it's leveraged, kind of like doing a webinar is leveraged. It's one-to-one selling or strategy sessions takes a lot of time. If you have an email list of 1,000 people versus trying to schedule phone calls with 1,000 people, you can send out the email a lot faster. And it's true, sometimes you can follow up emails with phone calls with the hottest responders. But yeah, what I really like is that it's leveraged. Let me see what else I jotted down here in preparation for this call. Oh yeah, the other thing is that in addition to not having to necessarily do strategy sessions, which I do strategy sessions, I'm not knocking them at all, but the email, it's such a leveraged way to sell stuff. But the other thing that I like is that it's really nice on the calendar, on the schedule, meaning I can write the email when I feel like writing, and I can send the email at the right time to the right people. So to be able to sort of bend time and space and sell when I'm at my best to sell and send when people are at perhaps their best to receive it works really well. For example, if I was sending out an email in the new year, I could write it back in September and maybe I'm full of ideas about the new year, and maybe I would look at it before it went out in January, but I could send it out in January. So you can write it when you feel like writing, and you can send it when you feel like sending. And by the way, I'm just reminded off the cuff, a good time to send emails is for people to receive them somewhere in between the window of 8:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. And the reason for this is that most of us, when we log into our computer, we go check our email and we just start deleting or archiving all the emails that are not highest priority. The emails that we send to our prospects might not fall under that highest priority category. And so if we can have our emails come in after what they've gone through, we call it the purge. After they've gone through the purge and purged out all the spam and stuff that's not urgent to them, your email will have a better chance of being read. And if you cannot control when that email goes out by each person's time zone, some autoresponders will let you choose to send out an email, for example, at 8:30 in the person's local time zone. If you can't do that, then I recommend sending it out at 8:30 a.m. Pacific or before 3:30 p.m. Eastern, because at least you'll capture all of the United States in that window. 8:30 a.m. Pacific is 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, so those Eastern people will have already done their purge. And as long as you send it out before 3:30 p.m. Eastern, then you're still in the early afternoon for the other time zones in the U.S. Now, of course, that doesn't apply worldwide, but that's what I do anyway. I usually send out my emails at 8:45 a.m. Pacific time.
Nice. Yeah. And a lot of times my clients will ask me, like, when should we send out this broadcast? We'll be prepping a broadcast together. And I always say, well, Rob recommends that, and it really helps them because, a lot of times they just aren't sure, and they're open to suggestions. So that's really helpful. And I love that you can kind of prep these emails way in advance on your own time, because I'm a writer. I have a writing major, but not everybody does. And so sometimes it takes a little bit of sending these drafts to a couple colleagues or your coach, and kind of fine tuning them before you send them to your list, because sometimes if we get into the last minute Nelly cycle, we end up writing these really quick emails and they don't always convert. So it's good that you kind of have the strategy there, but it's also kind of this very focused way of marketing.
Yeah. Works really well. And the reason that email marketing can work really well, I mean, there are a lot of strategies to the actual emails, but the key big picture strategy, it's not that you have to be elegant. It's not that you have to be clever. It's not that you have to know all these marketing tricks. You really need to be authentic. But in order for this authenticity to help you sell stuff, your audience needs to trust you. You've probably heard of the know, like, and trust factor. And all three are good, but nothing's more important than trust. If people don't trust you, they will not hire you. They will not sign up with you. They will not buy from you. So a good example of the know, like, trust factor would be a drug dealer. When people buy drugs from a drug dealer, do they have to know the drug dealer? Not really. Maybe it's a referral, right? Do they have to like the drug dealer? Probably not. But do they have to trust that, I guess, the drugs they buy, or they're going to get the drugs they paid for? Yeah, they need to trust that it's going to be a good transaction. And so it's the same in our marketing. Yeah, go for all three, the know, like, and the trust. But among these three, the trust is more important than anything. And so what you want to do is you want to really nurture your list. You want to send them really good content so that they get to know you and like you, and most importantly, trust you on two levels. They need to trust you as a person, meaning you're not someone who's going to run away with their credit card number, and they need to trust you as the expert who can get them the results that they want.
Yeah, I think that's really good, because a lot of times my clients will, they'll put up a lead magnet and then they won't nurture their list. And so there's, a basic sales funnel I always tell my clients is like about 4 pages. It's the opt-in page, the thank you page, the sales page, and the thank you page for that. But if there's nothing that goes on in between that, you're just like slapping them with a sale all of a sudden, or an offer, and they're not ready to buy necessarily, unless they already know you. So a lot of times my clients just want to, they're really eager, and so they want to skip to the end. But that nurturing is really important.
Yeah, too often, so many people in our world, they think, oh, I'm going to build an email list and start selling right away, or I'm going to put up a website and start selling right away. But that trust factor is missing many times. You can think of it like a relationship bank account. The more you give, the more you're depositing money into that relationship bank account. And every time you sell or ask for something, you're withdrawing money. Too often, we as business owners try to withdraw when there's not enough money in the bank to make that withdrawal. So every time you can, give as much good content to your audience as you can, and fill up that relationship bank account. I like to recommend that, at least from an email standpoint, email marketing, at least 30 days of content. Give to them for a month and build up that bank account. Then you can start asking for them to consider your offers, or asking them to do something.
Yeah, that's really smart, and it's something that's very often skipped. Now you actually recommend 3 different campaigns or types of campaigns. Can you kind of describe that a little bit more?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I would also be happy to circle back around to that trust factor. There's a deeper level that you can go with people, which really, really helps. So let's both try to remember that, Gina, and I'll come back and talk about that. Since the primary focus here is email marketing, maybe everybody already knows this stuff, but I suspect that it's going to be very helpful. The 3 different email campaigns that I recommend are an announcement campaign, a price increase campaign, and a 3-day sale. And I'll explain each one. When you first come up with a product or a program or something to sell, you can get real excited. And it's kind of like a product launch. You can announce it to your list. You can say, hey, everybody, I'm so excited because I just come up with, or I'm just releasing this new program. And I've done that very successfully when I've created info products, when I've come up with new coaching models. I reach out and I just tell my list, hey, I'm so excited to offer this to you guys for the first time. So that's an announcement campaign. A price increase campaign is where the announcement campaign, let's say you start selling something at $4.97. A price increase campaign is where you say, hey, the price of this product or program or whatever it is going up from $4.97 to $9.97. It's doubling in price. And doubling works real well, which I'll explain why in just a minute. But it's going up in price. But for the next 3 days, you can get it at the old price of just $4.97. So act now and grab it before the price doubles when I wake up on the last day or the day after the sale. So that's the second kind of campaign, is a price increase campaign. The third kind is a 3-day sale campaign where you put your product on sale for half price. And I tested this with a little $27 ebook. It went out to, I think it was like, I don't know, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 crafters. It was in a totally different niche, but it went out to these 3,000 people. And it was the first time I ever came up with a 3-day sale campaign. I tried it out. And I got really good results. I remember the money was $1,700. So if you take half price of $27, I think it was like $1,388 or something after fees. So whatever $1,700 is divided by $1,388, it sold a lot, right? Over 100 copies, if I'm doing the math right. So it was really successful. Well, that was when I put it on sale for half price. I tried it again. And instead of being half price of $13.88, I put it on sale for $10. And you would think that it's even less money. It's a hotter deal. It's a bigger bargain. But almost nobody bought the next time I did it. And when I came back to the half price concept, it picked up again. It wasn't quite $1,700 in sales. But what that told me is that people understand the concept of something being half price. They don't understand a monetary value as to how valuable it is because it's in a vacuum. They don't have anything to compare it to, but everybody understands half price or half off. So having a 3-day sale is where you essentially say, for the next 3 days, my product or program is on sale for half price. And now you might wonder, well, what about the people who buy it at full price? And yeah, that is a concern, and I have a solution for that. I'm just trying to think. I don't know whether to go into detail with it right now or circle back to the first one, but I'll go into detail with it right now. So the whole strategy where you announce your product at a certain price, and then you increase the price, and then you put it on sale for the previous price, can work really well, especially if your announcement price is where you actually want to sell it. So in other words, if your ultimate price was $9.97, that's what you wanted to sell it at most of the time, you could announce it at $9.97. You could double the price to $19.97, and you could put it on sale again for the lower price, the $9.97. What I recommend, though, is when you raise the price, you add a really valuable bonus. So, for example, I might offer a year of laser coaching to people if they buy a certain product, and then if I put it on sale, I remove that bonus. In other words, people are always paying $9.97 for the product unless they get this incredibly valuable bonus along with it. And that way, someone who paid the higher price, they might come back and say, hey, I noticed you put this thing on sale and I paid $2,000 and now it's $1,000. You can say, yeah, but you got a year of coaching with me. Nobody else is getting that for this sale. And so that's the way to make all the numbers work out with the 3-day sale campaign and the price increases and stuff. So Gina, I can go into more detail about the 3 campaigns, the announcement, the price increase, the 3-day sale, or we can keep moving through our overall outline, whatever works best for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think just, I've actually tried that 3-day sale, half off campaign before to my list, and I love it because, like you said, we can just prep those emails and it's like I get money coming in without, really having to do so much work, it seems like. And so it's really effective. But I think there's also, you've explained, in your Radical Results Mastermind calls, the sales philosophy, because I've sent that same kind of 3-day sales template to some of my clients, and sometimes it doesn't work because they end up taking out, a trigger or something that's actually really important for it, to convert. So that's why it's important to understand the concept of what goes into that email, as well as just, the email if you're going to be changing it.
Yeah. Each of the 3 campaigns ideally consists of 5 emails, and it can be 3, and I've done 3 quite a bit, but 5 I believe is perfect, and I'll explain. And by the way, the best days of the week, at least for me and my audience is coaches and small business owners. The ideal days of the week are to actually do your sale campaign on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but in this 5 email model, you actually start 2 days prior. So you start on Monday. And what happens is on Monday, you send a nurture email. You send some really good content. You deposit money into that relationship bank account. Send your very best concept or whatever's going to just blow people away. The kind of email where people are going to reply and say, thank you, this is exactly what I needed. Or, you're blowing my mind right now. This is amazing stuff. That's the caliber of email you want to send on a Monday. On a Tuesday, you want to send another really good email like that. But just with a tiny hint or angle to create or address the need of what your 3-day sale is going to offer, the solution that will be involved in your 3-day sale. So let's say you're selling your coaching services. In that second email, you might share some really amazing wisdom and say, one of my coaching clients said this about this concept. And so it's so slight that you almost don't even notice that it's selling, because it's not selling, but it's letting people know that you are a coach and you have clients. You don't want to say, P.S., you can hire me if you want. That's too big of an ask. You're withdrawing money when you do that. But if you just ever so slightly hint that you might have the solution that they've been looking for, or that you are an expert that could help them with the problem that's on their mind related to what you're going to be selling, that's what you're going for. So email 1 on Monday is general, just amazing information. Email 2, also amazing information that just slightly hints at what you got to sell. For the actual 3 emails, the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that sell it, there's kind of a formula that I've been using that works really well. So we could call it day 1 or day 3. Let's call it Wednesday. The Wednesday email is where you announce your campaign. You announce what's going on. So maybe it's an announcement campaign, maybe it's a price increase campaign, maybe it is a 3-day sale, but you announce it. You say, hey, for the next 3 days, here's the deal. In the second email, which we will call Thursday, the one after the previous, this is a good place for social proof. Social proof is where you let people know, ultimately you're letting them know you should be paying attention to this, but you're letting them know that other people are responding. And then the underlying message is you should probably pay attention to this also. So if somebody bought something from your Wednesday email, then you let them know, hey, I'd like to welcome 3 new people into this program, or whatever's true. And if nobody bought on that first day, which can happen, you can say, hey, it's so excited, it's going well. Let me answer some of your questions. You just try to get people interested and involved, and ideally letting them know, if possible, that other people are interested. So maybe someone asked you some questions, or somebody signed up for a phone call with you to find out more about it. Whatever it is, whatever you can say that's true and in your integrity, you want to, on that Thursday email, you want to wake people up so that they realize they should be paying attention to this also. Friday, or the final day, day 5, day 3, whatever we call it, is where the key theme here is scarcity. It's that the offer is over either today, or I like to say when I wake up tomorrow, and then I just tend to sleep in the next day, quote unquote, sleep in the next day. So sometimes a few sales will come in on that Saturday morning. But it's where you say, hey, today is the last day. If you want to get this deal, it depends on the theme of the campaign. Maybe with an announcement campaign, it's only so many spots are open. Or maybe with a price increase campaign, you say, the price is doubling when I wake up tomorrow. And same thing with a 3-day sale. If it's half price for those 3 days, you can say, hey, after today, the price goes back up to its normal. If you want to get it for half price, take action. So those are the 5 emails that belong inside each campaign. If you follow my model, and I'm not saying my model is the only one, but it's one that's worked really, really well for me.
Yeah, I think that's super helpful. And I think especially the last thing, giving them some sort of a limiter, because that's what I've found, clients have taken out, saying, oh, I want it just to be an evergreen campaign, and I just want these to be in my autoresponder sequence. Like it doesn't give people any reason to buy. I mean, it gives them no sense of urgency. And so if you don't give them any kind of limiter, then they feel like they can just, it'll just sit in their inbox and, it'll get to it someday, so it's, so really, I mean, that last part is really important.
Yeah, I'll say 2 things about that. The first, you reminded me, it's these 5 emails that we just discussed do not belong in an autoresponder. I've tested this with other clients, luckily, and they don't work. For some reason, if you announce a 3-day sale and it's like day 17, 18, and 19 when they're on your list, or day 35, 36, 37. Yeah, it just doesn't work. I'm not sure exactly why, but there's just this energy, and maybe it's also the email, the second sales email, the social proof one, the Thursday email. You might not be telling the truth if you say, wow, you guys are awesome. Yeah, I've had so many questions, or 3 people bought, or whatever. But when it's sent out as a broadcast email, that's when this works best. So I recommend for your nurture emails, you put them in your autoresponder, day 1, day 2, day 4, day 6, 8, 15, 22, and so on. But with your sales campaigns, your email campaigns to sell something, yeah, those belong as broadcast emails. The other thing I wanted to mention, is that when I first started doing this, email day, I'm going to call it Thursday. It's the day 2 of the 3-day sale, but email 2 actually converted significantly higher than email 1 or 3. And that was great. So I worked with that for a while, but over time things have shifted, and I don't know why. It could be that, it could be lots of reasons, but maybe people, they get too many emails now, and maybe back in the olden days, the social proof was more effective. But now it's the very last day that it is a home run. It wins by a lot. So sometimes I'll offer a coaching program out to my email list, and nobody buys on day 1, and nobody buys on day 2, but day 3, a bunch of orders come in. And so, so don't give up hope if, Monday's email might feel good, Tuesday's email might feel good, Wednesday, all of a sudden nobody wants your stuff, and then Thursday nobody's responding and buying, and you start doubting the system. Wait till Friday, and it kind of depends on the size of your list and your relationship with your list. But if you if you've got enough people and you have connected with them and they trust you, well, then I think you'll be really pleased on that final day of your campaign.
Yeah, that's a really good tip, because sometimes we can freak out, if you don't see orders coming through. And I've actually noticed that it's been pretty steady. Like when I send my 3-day sales campaigns, that I'll get, maybe 1 the first day, and I'll get, maybe 2 more the second, so it kind of builds upon itself. But usually every day that I send an email, I do get some sort of order, so yeah, but you can definitely kind of overthink it sometimes when you're sending these broadcasts. So yeah, it's really important.
Yeah, great. So I'll let you take the lead here, Gina. How do you want to move forward?
So, I mean, you kind of touched on it before with the nurture sequence, but how often should you be selling to your list? Because I know that some of my clients are just like, oh, I don't want to bug my list, but at the same time, there should be some sort of balance between, how often they should sell to their list and, just give tips and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So as far as I've got a very specific nurture sequence that I recommend, which ultimately ends up to being a once a week nurture email. That's your autoresponders. So it's got a little bit of funny math in the beginning. Basically, the logic is that with your nurture sequence, you want to email them a little more intensely at first so they don't forget who you are, and then email them once a week. And I'll rattle off the sequence. The reason for this specific sequence is that once you get to the point that you're emailing them once a week, it's the same day of the week that they got on your list. So if they got on your list on a Saturday because that's their day off, they're going to be hearing from you every Saturday once you get through that first set of emails. So here's the sequence if you want to write it down. It's day 1, day 2, day 4, 6, 8, and then you just add 7. So it's 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 15, 22, 29. And if your autoresponder starts on day 0, then it's the same concept, but just subtract 1 from those numbers. So day 1, day 2, day 4, day 6, day 8, 15, 22, 29, and so on. And I recommend that you write your nurture emails for at least 90 days. A year would be ideal. That would come out to 55 emails. But I'd say at least 90 days so that people really get to know that you know what you're talking about. I recommend that you nurture people for at least 30 days before you sell them anything. And some systems will let you sort of automate things. You can say, hey, after 30 days, move them over to this list. Or in other cases, you can say, hey, I want to do a segment of my list. Only the people who've been on it for at least 30 days, those are the people I want to email. If you can't do this easily, then just go ahead and email everybody. But your unsubscribes will be more intense from those people who have been on your list for less than 30 days. So that's the strategy, the sequence for nurturing. Now for selling, how often should you sell to those people that have been on your list for at least 30 days? I personally sell to my list approximately once a week, but it's not always my own stuff. So when I'm selling my own stuff, it's about once a month. The other 3 weeks in a 4-week month, I'm usually promoting someone else because of joint ventures. That's a great way to grow your list. It's a great way to sell stuff. But yeah, and sometimes though, I'll have a free week with no JV promotion, and I'll go ahead and think, what else can I sell my list? So I do like to sell them something or recommend something or promote something once a week. As far as, I think a minimum that we should all be doing is promoting something to our list at least once a month. So if they're getting weekly nurture emails from you, you're depositing lots of money in that relationship bank account, and it's okay to then present them with an offer and say, hey, do you want to consider this? As far as selling the same product or program, I would recommend once a quarter. Now, I've broken this rule before. When I came up with my laser coaching model, which is like a 15-minute laser coaching program, I sold it in January, but I also sold it in February. It's like January, it sold so well, I thought, wow, that's great. I wonder what would happen if I sold it again, and I just sold it the next month. But I think overall, once a quarter is a good balance. So if you have, what's the math? It's at 3 programs 4 times a year. So if you have 3 different things you can sell, you technically could sell once each quarter and always be promoting something to your audience once a month. And then you could use those other 3 weeks to promote JV partners or promote affiliate products or just nurture them even more and put more money in that relationship bank account.
Yeah, and I think that nurture sequence is brilliant. You know, I've actually used it with my own list, and I was really just on vacation. You know, we took a family trip to Idaho Falls, and I wrote out my nurture emails, you know, just on a, pen and paper, and I typed them out and, sent them to my critique group and got them, edited down. And I actually get like people replying to just my general nurture emails and saying, yeah, I mean, this pricing list is so great, Gina, just stuff like that. And so I know people read them, and it's kind of cool because, I know that people are getting value from it. And so I don't feel quite like as guilty if I'm, giving them an offer or sending them a JV promotion or something like that.
Yeah. Essentially, the nurture emails are to keep people from unsubscribing, right? So we all have probably unsubscribed from stuff because we're just tired of getting all these emails. But if you know that Gina's sending you good content as well, you don't want to miss out on that. So you're likely to stay on. And when we circle back to that other way of more deeply nurturing the list, this concept comes into play as well. It's another way to more deeply hook your audience into staying in your world and not unsubscribing so that they'll consider your offers.
Yeah, let's go into that. So the deep nurture sequence, how does that work?
Yeah, and so, and by the way, I probably said deep nurture sequence because there's the nurture sequence, but a better name for it is deep nurture vehicle. And so the Deep Nurture Vehicle is a way to more deeply connect with your people other than just emails, other than just these autoresponder day 1, 2, 4, 6, 8 emails. And so the Deep Nurture Vehicle is, in my case, it's a set or a series of calls that I do for my list several times a month. I call it my Radical Results Mastermind. I bring people into the program, and I've got 2 levels of that, and I think maybe at the end of the call, I'll give you guys a special link. The price is actually going up. It's not a 3-day thing where it's going to go up and down and all that. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. But the concept here is that for the Radical Results Mastermind, the basic version anyway, I give people 3 months in the program for free. That's in my nurture sequence. I think it's on the day 8 email. So after they've been on my email for 8 days, I say, hey, I've got a gift for you. It's 3 free months in this program. No credit card required. You're welcome to come in, and people join that. I've got about 2,000 people in there, and the funny thing is I just never take them out. They get their 3 free months, but then they stay in it, and nobody has complained. Nobody said, hey, my 3 months are up, I want out. But what happens is I deliver these really high value calls. I don't hold anything back. In fact, lately I've been taking those calls and turning them into products. So it's kind of like they're getting products within these calls. So that's really cool. But my point here is that by people being on these calls, they get to see me on video, they get to hear my voice, and they get to hear really high quality content. It's the structure of mine anyway is I teach a different topic each month. That way I can take that month's worth of calls and turn them into a product. But the reason that I know that this is a good strategy is when I first started doing this, I looked at the people who bought my info products, who bought my courses, and I realized that almost all of them were in that Radical Results Mastermind. In other words, not all of my list is in the Radical Results Mastermind. It's 2,000 out of about 9,000. So whatever the math is there, 2/9 of my list. And so, so back then when my numbers were smaller, it was true though. This certain percent, I think it was about 10% of my list at the time, all my buyers were in that smaller group, which told me that them being in the group allowed them to know me and like me and trust me more than just getting email from me. So I call this a Deep Nurture Vehicle. Now there is another kind of Deep Nurture Vehicle. If you don't want to do calls, then that's fine, no problem. But it would be running like a Facebook group. It would work with LinkedIn or other networking groups or online social media groups. But someone I know, a peer of mine who's doing really well, I think better than I am, which I'm happy for her, her strategy is a little more effective than mine. But it's because it takes more time. And I don't want to use Facebook the way she's using Facebook, but I'll explain the model because it works really well. What she does is, for her lead magnet, she says, hey, do you want this free report? People put in their name and email. On the thank you page, it says, great, the report is waiting for you inside my Facebook group. And now she also offers a link at the bottom that says, if you don't want to join the group, here's the direct link to the report. But most people join her group. So she starts adding all these people to her Facebook group. Then inside the group, she posts great content, but that's not what makes the difference. Just doing that, she would not be doing as well as she is now. What she does is she networks with the people in the group one-on-one. It's kind of like being at a live event and walking around and connecting with people. So her group is now so big that she's finding a way to filter out and try to only talk to the best people. But in the beginning, she would just talk to everybody. She'd say, hey, so happy to have you in the group. Tell me a little bit about your business. And then she'd say, you know, I'd really like to learn more about this. How about if we get on a call together? And she would basically get them on a call, and usually in real time. Like she would not send a link to her calendar and say, hey, schedule a call with me in 3 weeks. It would be like, hey, do you have time right now to get on the phone? I'd like to know even more. And so it's really congruent, because when you're in a group like that and you're typing, that's a lot slower than talking, right? So so people can tell you a little piece of their information. And you know, she's a business coach, but this would work in weight loss. This could work in relationships. It can work in all sorts of areas where people are telling you about their situation. You say, hey, I'd like to know a little bit more. I've got a couple of ideas. Can we get on a call together? And then on a perhaps 30-minute call, you essentially have like a strategy session, an enrollment session with them. And I could go off on a tangent here, but I've recently become a fan of strategy sessions, and I know the whole promise of this call is, hey, you can do email marketing, you don't need strategy sessions. But the reason that I shied away from strategy sessions for the longest time is that I didn't like the formulas that were out there. I felt like it was either reading a script or that it just didn't feel sincere. And so I got my own version of how to do strategy sessions, which is basically just listen to people and actively listen to them. So if it's a Zoom call, I like to go like this if I agree, or like this if I have a question, or just nod my head if I understand. But actively listen to them and then let them know, say, hey, based on what you just told me, I would recommend that you go into this program. This would be the perfect program for you because it would meet these needs. And you can basically let them talk and sell themselves while they're telling you about what their situation and what they need. So anyway, I know that's a little bit of a tangent, but there are two big models for this deep nurture vehicle. One is doing regular calls. The other is the Facebook group or LinkedIn group or whatever. And you can actually do both. If you've got more time than money, you could actually lead calls and you could have the Facebook group, and you could announce your calls in the Facebook group as well as send it out to your email list. So you could do a lot of things like that. But that's an overview of the deep nurture sequence. And Gina, inside my Radical Results Mastermind, inside the archive anyway, I've got a call where I really go into detail about that deep nurture vehicle. And if anybody wants that, they can just contact you or me. But I'll give you the link to it, and then you can share it with anybody who wants it. It's me talking for about an hour on this deep nurture vehicle thing and exactly how I do it. This is how I do it, so it's the calls, not the Facebook group. But if anybody's interested in it, just ask Gina or ask me.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think it's great that you've given them kind of multiple options, because some people just love Facebook. I have some clients who are really just not good with Facebook. So it just, it totally depends on, what you're comfortable with. So I think that's totally awesome. And I'm going to also share in the chat box, you've got a free gift, and it's a really generous gift. So I'm very excited that you're giving it to my folks. I like to give them extra bonuses for attending these things. And so this is a copywriting bonus, but you talked about discovery sessions, which are really good too. So definitely don't, even if you're on this call, we're talking about copy. Strategy sessions are probably the majority of where my clients come from as well. But this is a great gift. So can you let us know? I just posted the link, techdoneforyou.com/Rob gift, but it's a copy course.
Yeah, let me talk about that. It's a $997 course, $997, and Gina arranged for you to get it for free. So thank her, because I sell this thing. So but when we talk, we've got such a good relationship, and when we talked about doing a call, she said, "Can you give a gift to my audience?" I said yes. If the call is on email marketing, this is the perfect companion. And actually, a lot of the stuff that we've talked about on this call is in the course, but it's a more in-depth course. In fact, that course is not just a copywriting course. It's a course on list building, list nurturing, and email copywriting. So in other words, it takes you from the beginning to the sale. And which is where a lot of people want to be right now. So enjoy the course. The thing is, though, is you will pay $997 for it if you don't put the coupon code in. And that coupon code is Gina's last name, Decker, D-E-C-K-E-R. So don't put your credit card in. Don't give me $1,000. Instead, put in the word Decker, watch the price reduce to zero, and enjoy the gift. I hope you guys like it.
Yeah, that is so generous. And I was so excited to see that when you sent me the link, because it's not just the templates that, that I have used for my own list that have converted for my list. It's, the whole concept, and you go through it and explain it. And so, it's so valuable, you guys. So you gotta put in the coupon code so you get it for free. And if you're watching the replay, I will post the links to this. So, if you're not taking notes or driving or whatever. But I will give you both the link to that and the coupon code Decker, D-E-C-K-E-R, like Black and Decker. And then also, Rob, we mentioned it earlier, but your Radical Results Mastermind. I love this mastermind. I actually got a bonus into it because I bought coaching from you, but I loved being in this mastermind. Like just each call, goes so in depth into all of these different marketing and coaching topics. And a lot of times, I don't necessarily call myself a coach when I'm working with my clients, but they'd ask me these questions and I would just like rattle off your answer and they'd be really happy. And so, could you tell us a little bit about your program?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. However, I'm getting an urgent 911 message from my wife. She's traveling, and I bet everything's fine. But if you'll hang on just a quick second, sorry to have downtime here. But also, when I come back, please remind me to also cover the concept of giving away a gift inside the autoresponder. And there's something else I want to mention, but I'm going to go off camera for just a quick second to let her know I'm on this call because I don't know if she knows. So I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, okay, this is what happens when we're live. So I'll mute Rob for a second. And I'm just going to share with you that Radical Results Mastermind link because this is seriously awesome, you guys. And the price of it is amazing. And so it will be going up. And so this is techdoneforyou.com/Rob Results. And so this is the Radical Results Mastermind that I have been in for about 2 years. And it is amazing. And you get these calls and you can listen to the replay. They have transcripts. They've got slides. And it's just so good. And so if you missed any of the, kind of just the detail of what Rob shared with you today, this price is just, it floors me that he's charging. It's $19 a month. It's actually $19 a month, and it will be going up, I think, to probably $47 a month. But man, this is so valuable. I've been listening to every single replay religiously for the past several years. So okay, Rob, you good?
Yeah. She didn't realize I was on the call, just telling me somebody's stopping by to pick something up from a Craigslist sale. Okay. So we're good. But I kind of heard you in the background. The Radical Results Mastermind. So there are actually 2 levels of the mastermind. And I know, Gina, you mentioned $19 going up to $47. That's absolutely true. And that is the platinum version of the mastermind. The platinum version, let me just tell you what the basic one is, because if anybody wants to come into the basic, you can come in for free. I won't say get free months and all that. Just let me know if you want in and I'll let you in. And I will only kick you out if you're rude or there's some real strong reason to kick you out. But you can come into the basic one for free. The basic one is 2 calls a month, up to 90 minutes, the first 2 Tuesdays of the month from 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern to 90 minutes after that, up to 90 minutes after that. And every month is on a certain topic. So last month we covered automated webinars. I think before that we covered selling and then creating a product, which the order of that is really important. You sell it before you create it to see if anybody will buy it. Really great topics month to month to month. And actually starting in January, I'm bringing in other experts to teach as well. So that's really cool. So if you're not already in that group, then reach out. You're welcome to have that for free. But if you want to get in the platinum group, that instead of being the first 2 Tuesdays of the month is the first 3. In other words, you get the first 2 as part of basic, and then you get a 3rd teaching call. And I told you that most of these calls are turning into products, and my products usually have 3 parts to them, hence 3 calls. So if you like the idea of getting these products that I often sell for $4.97 or $9.97 or even $19.97, you can end up listening to those 3 calls within Platinum and getting the whole picture. That's probably the biggest benefit to joining Platinum. The other benefit, though, is you get access to the archive of calls that go back to September 2014. So if you like listening to my voice or the way I talk or the way I communicate and think, you'll have no shortage of information if you're an information junkie like I am. The other thing I want to mention is that it comes, the Platinum one comes with 2 live calls, 2 Q&A calls. One is on marketing and one is on technology. So the technology one is a lot like the JVIC tech calls, if you've been on those with Gina or with Gina and me. The marketing one, it's like the JVIC tech calls, but with marketing. So you can show up and you can ask any questions you like, and I'm happy to answer those live on the calls. And those, instead of being on the first 3 Tuesdays of the month. Those are on the second and third Wednesday of the month, always at the same time, always 8 a.m. Pacific, always 11 a.m. Eastern. Here's the interesting thing, though. Most people do not show up live to any of the calls, and that's okay. With over 2,000 people, I'm relieved that most people don't show up live. But most people wait for the replays, especially of the teaching calls. The teaching calls, if you wait for the next day, so if it's the first 3 Tuesdays of the month, then on the first 3 Wednesdays of the month, or whatever the day is after the first 3 Tuesdays, because that can fall weird, you get a replay of the video, the audio. You get my slides, notes, and resources, and a machine transcript of the call. So yeah, most people just wait for the replay, then they kind of glance through the slides and see if they're interested in that topic, and if they are, then they dig in and consume the information the way they want to. So all that to say that the Platinum one is where I'm really over-delivering what's in the basic, but the basic is good too because it lets us get to know each other and you learn some stuff. But the Platinum, I've decided I'm not charging enough. People are not valuing it at just $19 a month. So I'm raising it to $47 in January. If anybody wants to grab it for $19, just you can use the link that Gina may have put in the chat box or will, and you're welcome to join that for $19 a month instead of $47. When it goes up to $47, you'll be grandfathered in at $19. If you drop out, you'll have to come back in at the higher price point. And I'm even thinking about having some sort of I don't know what you call it, enrollment charge to get people started, because once you go into the Platinum group, you get access to all the calls back to September 2014. So I'm thinking about charging, I don't know, like $100 or $200 for that, but you can get it all for just $19 a month, starting right now through January if you're interested.
Yeah, and thank you so much for your generosity, because I am stoked that this is part of this interview. And of course, it is time sensitive. So guys, techdoneforyou.com/Rob results is to get the price. And of course, if you go there and you watch it after this, the time period, then, it's possible that you made this, that promotional price. But yeah, I mean, that is literally just such, an over delivery of value, because I've been listening to these even archive calls for years, and I just get so much value out of them. I mean, just the tech tips, but also the marketing advice. I mean, it is spot on. And even, when I took, the laser coaching from you, Rob, I immediately pretty much got my investment back within, a month. And so, yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth, checking out these, the gifts and, starting to learn these techniques.
Great. Well, yeah, thanks for the endorsement and the compliments, Gina. Yeah, I'm really proud of it. I think it's really great information. And the biggest reason that people drop out, and I don't want to really plant that seed, but I'll just tell you, is they say, what they're really saying is there's too much content, but they say, oh, I'm not showing up to the calls, or I don't have time to listen to this. And so at $19 a month, you'd have to be in it for quite a few months to equal a $997 product, a $997 product. So don't think of it as that if you miss a call, you're out that $19. Think of it more like you're paying to get access to all this stuff, and you can just kind of pick and choose what you want to consume. I think if you tried to consume everything, it might be very overwhelming. It was overwhelming to me to teach all this stuff. And so I would think listening to it would be very similar. So pick and choose the stuff that's of most interest to you. And also when you're in that, you can ask me questions. Even if the call was 3 months ago, you can say, hey, I just listened to your call on automated webinars, and you talked about this strategy that's responsible for 1/3 of all your webinar orders. How does that work again? And by the way, that's true, and that's a great call. But yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is don't feel like you have to consume everything in there. Going back to 2014, you'd be spending a lot of time with me, in your ears or on your screen. So instead, just say, oh wow, I'm interested in that topic, and then start listening to it. Or it's evolved over time, but lately I've been providing the slides. You can just look through the slides and say, oh yeah, I like these topics. I'd like to hear what he has to say on that. So that might be a good strategy.
Yeah, yeah, and you're definitely not missing out. I mean, and I actually do a lot of commuting. I live an hour and a half south of Reno, where I used to work, and so my mom still lives in Reno. My sister still lives in Reno, and so I'm up there frequently. It's about an hour and a half drive, and so I actually my husband just got me a Moto Z for for Black Friday, and so early Christmas birthday, gift, and so I just kind of pretty much plug in, to my tape deck, in the car, the audio replays, and they're just like about, the perfect amount of time for me to, make my commute, and I just, get so much value out of listening to it, and it's not like I'm really taking a huge amount of time out of my day. I mean, I'm pretty much already driving. So instead of listening to the radio, I'm listening to Rob and his great advice. So, yeah. Okay. So let me repeat if you guys missed any of this. techdoneforyou.com/Rob Gift, and the coupon code is Decker. So don't forget the coupon code. Otherwise, it's going to show up as $9.97, which I'm sure you can. It's definitely worth that. But coupon code is Decker, DECKER. And Rob Results. So techdoneforyou.com/Rob Results. Okay, so Kat says got it, and we've got about 10 minutes left.
Yeah, real fast. I wanted to jump back and say that other thing about the autoresponder gifts real fast, and then we'll take questions.
Okay, sure.
I told you that the way that I get people to go from just being on my email list into the Deep Nurture vehicles that are on around day 8 or whatever, they get an invitation into my Deep Nurture vehicle. Well, what I realized is that by framing that as a gift, people love gifts. And so I try to give a gift every 4 emails. So basically every month people are getting a gift, but I don't have that many gifts to give. So what I did is I reached out to JV partners and I said, hey, can I give my audience some product that you normally charge for, but I want to give it to them for free. And what that will do is that will send you a never-ending supply of leads from me, and it will allow me to be very generous with my list. Every JV partner said yes. They all love it because they're constantly getting my people over into their world. My list loves it because they're getting a gift every 4 weeks, and I love it because my list loves me for it. Those are the emails I get the thank yous from more than anything else is these gifts. So Gina's doing the same thing here on this call, saying, hey, Rob, can you give a gift to my audience? Well, it works with the nurture emails as well. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, I'm so happy you actually remembered to add that in, because I remember when that came, I got on your list and I got a gift. It was like an audio course from Gina Gabellini. And I was so stoked because, I mean, usually the price points that she's offering stuff, I can't quite, get in at that level. And so I got in maybe, I think it was, I forget how many audio recordings it was, but it was nicely put together. And I listened to them and I was so happy. I got that gift, just by being on your list. So, I mean, you're totally spot on with that. I mean, people love getting gifts like that. And I definitely loved it, from just being kind of new to your list.
Awesome. Yeah. That was a $497 product of hers, and since then she's withdrawn that. She said, "Hey, I don't feel like I should be selling this and you giving it away. So we found something else. Still a great gift, but yeah. I think just about every gift that I give is at least $497 or more in value, which, I mean, just blows people away when they get these things. So I think it's a really good strategy. But I want to make sure we have time for questions. So please, Gina, share with me who's got questions.
Okay, so I don't really see some questions in the chat. And of course, we used to do this, Rob and I, on the tech calls, but just kind of wave or, raise your hand. I think to raise your hand is a little bit hard on Zoom to do that. So take your video or something, or just wave to us. I'll actually unmute Kat because I know she's probably got a question. So.
Hey,
well, I can always come up with a question, that's for sure. I can always come up with a question, for sure. And I'm excited to be working with both of you with the Effortless Launch Formula with Gina and Rob with a business plan, and just really trying to finally get Water Citizen rolling after 4 years of all these different coaches and courses and everything. And Gina and I were talking before you got on, Rob, about, the kind of crowd that we've worked with universities and government agencies, and people who kind of think and do things a little differently. And I've always felt like I need to take these models and trust myself enough to tweak them a little bit in terms of what the timeline is like, and just how overworked these people are, and how they communicate, a little differently, and how they purchase things a little differently within those organizations. So I guess that's one of the things that I'm looking to do next year is figure out how to take these models and the copywriting models and things like that, and figure out, how might I rephrase it slightly or something like that, or retime it slightly.
Yeah, so the ultimate marketing formula is putting the right offer in front of the right people at the right time, enveloped with trust. So when you're marketing to a group of people that doesn't normally get marketed to like this, so it's the right offer to the right people at the right time. The right people, you know who they are. The right offer is something that's going to be an irresistible no-brainer for them. So an easy yes if they trust you. And then the right time, that's where the nurture emails can really come in handy, because you're constantly in front of them, so that when it is time for them to do their purchase orders or whatever it is, however they work, then right there you are sharing amazing advice with them, where they're thinking, wow, I mean, this lady just keeps on sharing this great stuff. I saw an email from her last week where she was offering this program. So I mean, it's the right offer, right people, right time, all surrounded with trust in brackets. So that's my answer, Kat. You basically want to build an audience who trusts you, and that's what I teach inside that fast revenue copywriting course that you guys are getting as a gift today.
Right. Cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
Nice. Okay, so, and I know I have some other clients on here too, so I'm going to give them an opportunity if they're able. So I'm unmuting Mag and Adriana. They're actually a husband and wife team. So Mag, Adriana, do you have any questions?
Oh, I see. Let me see.
Here, Adriana. They are so cute. They actually just relocated from London, so they're selling a house in London.
Nice.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Let me see. I don't know how to find my voice.
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. No, it's only I want to know how I can get the free gift you were saying about Rob, about the copy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very interested, and of course, I don't know what. Did you say that I need to use your last name?
Yes. And so that link again is techdoneforyou.com/Rob Gift, ROBGIFT. And you'll put in the coupon code Decker, DEC.
Oh, Decker. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll send out these, with a replay, I'll send out a replay. So in case you didn't hear the characters right, sometimes I talk fast.
Yes.
I'll go ahead and send out those links and the coupon code for you.
No, and I want to say thank you so much for, to Rob for its amazing, webinar. It's always so useful, and so much content and so much value. I really, really appreciate that.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's our pleasure. And of course, I feel very grateful that Rob, spent an hour of his day to.
I know, it's really good.
Amazing, generous gifts. So I am so happy. It really is truly December. So
yes, exactly. It's like a Christmas gift.
It's just like a Christmas gift. And I'm a Christmas baby, so it's kind of like a Christmas birthday.
Oh, yes. That's good.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Okay, so I'm muting you, and we've got 1 more minute, so I'm going to unmute Sherry. Sherry, do you have any questions for Rob?
I just want to say hi to Sherry before she asks any questions, because Sherry and I are good friends. So
good.
Nice to see you on the call, Sherry.
It's wonderful to see you and your handsome face on the call too. I don't know that I have a question as much as reiterating the comment that Adriana just made, that for everybody on the call and on the replays, the content from Rob is brilliant. It's so helpful. It's just amazing content. I do want to contact you, Rob, and you, Gina, because I love the done for you stuff. I'm ready to do the done for you stuff. So yes.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And I actually see Barb joining us too. Barb is one of my clients now.
Yeah, and Gina, let's get to Barb next. I've got a few more minutes, but I also just want to acknowledge Sherry. Sherry is the one who shifted my whole mindset of working for other people and really going into business myself. So Sherry, thank you so much. It worked out perfectly. You helped me understand who I am and what I should be doing. And I stepped out of one role and into a role that I love even more. So I just want to acknowledge Sherry. If you guys don't know Sherry, get on her list and get to know her, because her stuff is brilliant. It's called Core Map, and she can tell you all about it. But yeah, get in contact with Sherry if you want to make sure you're doing the right things. Because if you're doing the wrong things, you're not making the progress you can if you just shift slightly what you're doing and what you're up to. So I give Sherry my highest endorsement.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Thank you, Rob. And you know what? You've done that brilliantly.
Well, yep, and thank you. I really appreciate it.
Very cool. Yeah, no more working for the man. So, all right. So, and I'll unmute Barb for just a second. She was actually one of our interviewees in this series. So Barb is a copyright expert. And Barb, I'm just going to catch you up real quick. techdoneforyou.com/Rob gift is the gift that we shared today, and there's a coupon code for it's basically $9.97 that you're getting for free. And so let me mute some of these people. Okay, so $9.97, and the coupon code is Decker. I'm going to be sending out the replay with these links, and then also Rob shared an amazing value. It's $19 a month, and it's his Radical Results Mastermind, and that is techdoneforyou.com/Rob Results. So if you have any questions for Rob, we've got like just about a minute, and then we're going to wrap up.
Well, I'll have to catch you on the replay, but I look forward to that.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to mute Barb. All right. So thank you so much, Rob. I am so happy and grateful that you joined us for this December Tech Done For You call. And of course, Done For You, if you guys need Done For You, you know where to find me. But thank you so much. I'm really grateful for the gifts that you shared with us today.
Awesome, Gina. Yeah, thanks for having me on the call. Thrilled to be here and speaking to your audience. And yeah, I hope everybody on this call and everybody who hears the replay is your client, or at least talks to you about becoming your client, because you're awesome. And we talked about trust being the most important factor, or it's really the most important word in marketing. And Gina is such high integrity, so totally trustworthy. If she can't help you, she'll tell you, and if she can, she'll make that irresistible, no-brainer offer to help you say yes. So just as well as Sherry, I also give Gina my highest endorsement. So you guys are in great company from this outsider saying hello.
Well, thank you so much, Rob, and we'll let you get back to your busy day. And so thank you all for joining us for this call, and I will be sending out the replay in case you missed any of it. So bye.